You know what? I think it's happening.
Are people just looking at us?
Like at this stage, I have absolutely no idea what's happening. The round of applause seems a bit much. I think we were live for that entire
Were
time.
we?
I genuinely think we were live for a good chunk of that. Like we were live for enough of that it was embarrassing.
Ah, sure, listen.
Sure, look it.
It's grand.
How was your week?
Good. Can we just address the big balloons and banner and your big badge? Is today your birthday, Killian?
Oh my God! Yeah,
I noticed.
No, it is.
Happy birthday!
Thank you very much. I am 36 today. I came down to a lovely little surprise this morning. The kitchen was transformed.
Yeah, but can we just take it back to last night where you wouldn't go to sleep?
Why? What's?
It was like 3 a.m. or something by the time you went to sleep, and then you were awake at the crack of dawn this morning and almost ruined your surprise.
I was excited.
You were like worse than a 6-year-old at Christmas.
I was full on excited. It's my birthday today.
I know.
I genuinely couldn't sleep, and I don't know why last night. It was up till all hours. I'm gonna have to take this off, by the way. I wanted it on for the intro.
Just to let people know in case they didn't notice all of this in the background.
Yeah. We've got some cards on display.
We do. We've got some cocktails.
Got some cocktails.
We're in our loungewear tonight.
Courtesy of my brother.
We're being
and his wife.
comfortable
Thank you very
tonight.
much. I feel much better than I did last week.
Yeah, me too.
Last week I was sweating, uncomfortable, and a really tight tuxedo. It wasn't a good look for me. It was one of those things where you put a tux on and you think you look like a James Bond, and in reality you
you looked great.
You think?
Yes, you look great.
Thank you very much. Great show lined up this week.
You do.
Again, great feedback from last week's show.
Yeah, I was so surprised. Like, we had so many viewers and then loads of people messaging, which was lovely. And it's just nice to support people. Like, people, like, at the moment are just trying different things. And I think it's really nice to support people.
I think so. And it's like, look, sure, if the first 2 or 3 minutes of this show is anything to go by.
Yeah.
It's usually when you would do something like this, if I was to do something like this, I would be off camera pressing all the buttons and not also on camera pressing all the buttons, doing everything else as well. So that's why, yeah, you gotta bear with us. Come on, we're doing this just for the sponsors. That's all. We just want to do this till we start getting some sponsor money in.
And we're doing it for the crack. Nothing else to do on a Saturday night.
The crack is the name of a new loungewear company that we're going to be doing a partnership with. Debbie is actually rocking her loungewear today.
Okay, we're going to, we promised tonight that we wouldn't go over time with all of our gibberish.
We did say, tonight's going to be tight.
So this week, we'll talk about this week. How did you feel this week? I think I was a bit up and down this week.
Yeah, you had a tough week. I think a number of factors playing into that. I distracted myself this week with something that I never thought I had. Green fingers.
Gardening. We'll call it gardening loosely.
Okay, let me explain.
So I'll explain. So what happened is that I said to Killian, the nice weather, we're spending some time out the back. Like, we don't have our back garden done or anything like that. I was like, go rent a lawnmower, we'll cut the grass. And why don't we dig up the sides, like the panels at the sides of the fencing, and just grow some flowers in it to make it look pretty if we're going to sit out.
Nice little simple flower bed down the side of the garden.
So he's like, no problem, I'll do that. Neighbours gave us the lend of shovels, your dad, all the rest. Left you to it. I was working away.
I thought, in my infinite wisdom, do you know what would be better than just one bit of a patch of flowers along the edge of the garden? I wanted to go...
What size is 6 by... What was it? 6 by 4, 6 by 2?
The vegetable patch.
Yeah.
It's about 8 foot by 6 foot.
So I was working, and I just, after a couple of hours went by, and I think I went to get a drink or something like that, and I looked out the window, and all I saw was like this giant muck patch, essentially.
Well, because of course it just looks like a muck patch for the moment. So it was a lot more work than I thought it was, honestly, and I would not have done it if I had known. I had to dig down a full foot and then sieve through all the soil and then put new soil in there.
Anyway.
We now have a vegetable patch.
With no vegetables in it, may I add?
But I'm telling you, as soon as we start growing veg and we're making our own vegetable soup, and it's like Killian's vegetable soup, and then when we can have guests over,
such notions.
And I'll be like, oh, did you like that? They go, this soup was lovely. Where did you buy this? Is it Killian's Sully? Like, no, this is just this Sully. and then boom, hit them
Oh
with
my
the
God.
yeah. So that's the plan to grow.
So that's what you did this week.
Yeah.
I cut your hair this week.
Yes, you did. Look, I mean,
I'm not going to lie.
there was
Moments.
there's a few stragglers. I won't do a full spin around because you'll see.
Oh, it's not too bad.
No. In fairness to you, it really was. But
I was afraid doing it, I have to say. Like, I've done my brother's hair and it's been grand.
and that's what you went into it going like, oh, I've done my brother's hair, it's fine.
Yeah, it's like, it's grand. I'll use scissors. Not particularly confident with a razor, but it's like, you put whatever blade, tell me what to do, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I didn't realize
Yeah,
this.
it's
I didn't
not as
realize,
easy as it sounds.
Didn't realize you couldn't really blend or anything. What was really
I'm not a
worrying.
barber.
What was really worrying is when you'd like do something and then you'd walk around to the front and you'd be like looking at me and your face would just go like this. No, what was the face? It's just
Yeah,
like
I'm not good. I don't have a good poker face. I have the worst
poker face in the world. Worst poker face in the world. But yeah, got the haircut anyway, so
Yeah, looking good.
that's good, no doubt.
It'll
people are
grow
gonna
back
be-
anyway.
Yeah, look, that's it. You know, worst case
That's not
scenario,
bad.
to grow back. It's grand. Great show lined up this week.
We do, so let's get a move on.
We've got a really, really, really good guest. We're going to be
Yes.
joined live via Skype, if it all works, by Danny O'Brien, the comedian.
Yes, I love Danny.
He is. We've seen him a few times now.
Yeah, I love him because like, I love comedians that use real life in their like routines or jokes. Like, I just think it's so much more relatable than like, hey, two guys walked into a bar, boom, like, you know, where it's like stuff that happens in real life where they've drawn from experience from other people or themselves or whatever. And they're my kind of comedians.
Well, we actually have a clip of Danny
good.
doing his thing. This was to a sold out tent at the Vodafone Comedy Festival. Everywhere he plays. Well,
We were at this one,
everywhere he
weren't
played was a sellout. He unfortunately isn't playing anywhere at the moment,
Yeah.
like everyone.
we? Well, we'll get to chat to him
We'll
in
get
a
to
little
chat with
while
him,
about
but
that.
this is Danny being Danny, doing his thing on stage.
Irish mothers, I kind of stood up to my mother for the first time at Christmas last year, right? Her and my sister were having a bit of a verbal argument, and I interjected. They were both 8 wines in. I'd made a huge mistake. Right? They were kind of having a bit of a fight. I said, I'm going to say something here. We're all adults. I said, hang on, Mum. Sorry. I think you're being a bit harsh here. I think you're being a bit passive aggressive. Yeah, I fucking know now. You know when you've gone too far, you can't backpedal. My mother then turns into a nightclub bouncer at 4 in the morning who's had enough. Something changed. She just went, excuse me? I was like, no, but I just think you're being a bit passive, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. No. Take the stage, funny man. How dare you? I have never been passive aggressive. Nor shall I ever be. Then looks directly at my sister and goes, unlike some people. That is the definition of
Oh,
passive
he is
aggressive.
just brilliant.
He's
He's
so
brilliant.
good.
And his stories, he has this one piece in his routine that he did about spotting the hens in an airport.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's
he's-
very good.
He's brilliant. Anyway, he's going to be joining us live in, I'd say, in the next 5 minutes or so. Before that, though, it's time to do...
Best of the West.
Yeah, we haven't really worked a jingle. The jingle
No,
could be something like
it's
this.
obviously not that.
Yeah, welcome to Best of the Web on Just the Tip. Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely not how
We'll
we're
work
gonna
on
do
it, we'll work on it.
We work on it.
Okay, so first up, you have something for us.
I saw this. This popped up as
I haven't seen this.
a sponsored
yet, I don't
post
think.
on my Instagram feed, and I just don't know what to make of it. It just feels like fashion needs to stop. Whatever they're trying to do, just stop. Hugo Boss are trying to sell jelly sandal. What even are they? Jelly sandals.
They're jelly sandals.
And the upsetting thing is that
It's the big step on them that I don't like.
simply,
And I'm short. I could do with a step.
You'd be loving that, but simply because it says the word boss,
But it looks like
there's
it's
going to be people buying them and wearing
stuck
them.
on as well. It's
They do
yeah.
look a bit fake, but no, it's apparently legitimate. And
Damn, I better return your birthday present.
I swear to God, if you did, you got
Yeah,
me
but I
those.
agree. The whole fashion thing sometimes it just goes a bit too far.
Oh,
like
it's
people
like-
are just trying so hard to be different
Yeah,
that they don't end up being different. It just is ridiculous.
looks
like.
ridiculous. Another thing that you came across that you really liked.
Yes, I got sent this actually by I think it was a photographer. Can't remember offhand. And it was basically these 4 babies, what do you call them?
When there's
Quads?
two twins,
Yeah, quads.
four of them born at the same time.
Quadruplets.
Yeah, quadruplets. Yeah, let's go with that.
So there's 4 of them anyway, and they love to hug. And the meme going around at the moment is this video of them all hugging, being like, "This is everybody once COVID-19, like the restrictions are lifted. Look at them. Look."
The little
They just
dots.
spend the whole time. Look. Hiya. Aww. Very cute.
Very cute indeed.
So then the next one you want to discuss.
Yeah. So I'm sure everyone saw this. Jill Downey was the first to tweet this picture of Matt Damon, Hollywood movie star Matt Damon. Just for whatever reason, I think he was due to film a movie in Dublin when this all happened, and he is now locked down in Killiney, in Dublin, in South Dublin, and so everyone knows this. This isn't.
Yeah, I think it's been all like on every media site.
But I just love that he's there with his togs in a super value bag. But then this Irish company called Hairy Baby T-shirts have made a tote bag with Matt Damon on it. Big bag of cans in doggy with the lads.
Very good.
Brilliant. I love it. Someone is tough doing
I
the rounds.
loved as well. You saw something on Twitter, and it was like the doggy community page, and someone had written an American
someone from
journalist.
the New York Times, so someone from the New York Times wrote into the docky community, whatever the Facebook group is, being like, "Hey, we believe Matt Damon is.
Yeah, could you get some photos?
Is there photos or any stories? Why don't you send it here?" And all the replies are like, "How about just leave him alone?"
I love that.
It's
like,
great, isn't it?
I love that people were just like, "Leave him alone." Like,
yeah,
he's just a normal person. Like,
well, isn't that why there's a lot of celebrities come to Ireland for that reason? Because they're just left alone.
But I don't know, is it that we're a culture that are like, Scarlett, I'm not going up and asking for a photo. I'm not asking for a photo of him. Like, you know.
Playing it like too cool.
Yeah, too cool for school. Like, no way, I'm not getting a photo. But I did love that when you found that on Twitter today. It was really good. And then another one that I love. Well, you would probably have followed him first and then introduced me to some of his videos and stuff like that. I wouldn't watch him religiously, but I did see one the other day put out, and it's Tyke Fleming, and I think he's doing a super job during COVID-19 at like uplifting spirits, and he's putting loads of content out there.
Yeah, when I first came across this guy, his videos on I saw him I think on Instagram or one of them, but his TikTok is where he's like most famous. About 1.4 million followers he has on the go now.
Wow.
And his popularity rose when he would ask Alexa to play a song, but he would ask her to play Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On.
In
but
like
way
the
he would
most
ask,
ridiculous,
to like, in almost like, there's no way Alexa is going to understand what I'm saying. And he keeps pushing the boundaries and pushing the boundaries. And then the other day, this happened, and you were just like,
yeah, it was just gas.
Cracked you up big time.
Ding ding, balla bing bang, ding ding bong. Feck off. There's no chance you're getting that one.
Witch doctor. Ooh, ah.
It's his facial expressions I
Took the
love.
piss there now.
Kids now on Amazon Music.
Great song.
Hey, witch doctor, give us some magic words.
The 90s.
You go ooh ee, ooh tang tang, walla walla bang bang.
Very good.
Stop.
Ooh, ee, ooh,
Ting ting.
Oh, he's very good. And what I love now at the moment is that his whole family are getting involved in this.
Yeah, like his
they're
dad
doing-
seems like he's the absolute
He's gas
crack.
as well. He didn't lick it off a stone. Like, the whole family's getting involved in all different TikToks, tasks, everything. Gas crack. Like, you should, like, I'm sure everybody is following him already and checking it out. But
yeah, I don't think
he definitely
anybody's
made
watching
me laugh
this
this week.
and not discovering for the first time. But another person who's getting their whole family involved in their TikToks.
Yes, one of my faves.
So if you don't really understand the premise of TikTok, right? So you can take your own audio recording and then you upload your video. And then people can use that audio and then they mime what they're saying or whatever. So that's another thing that people are doing. But what James Patrice has been doing is he's taken the sound recordings from EastEnders, actual episodes of EastEnders.
So like if you follow James, you'll know he's in like an avid EastEnders watch it. Like he watches it all the time with his parents and stuff like that. So if you follow him for a while, like you get his obsession with EastEnders. And so what they're doing at the moment is recreating scenes from EastEnders. So like in TikTok version, like, but his mom and dad are getting dressed up like the characters too. Like the funny, I laugh, I howl every time I come across
the lengths
it.
that they go to.
Yeah, like it's a little mini production he's putting on.
All right,
like.
let's check this one out.
Oh, temper. Anyway, you're nothing to write home about. No wonder Roy can't do it.
How dare you!
I'll flaming well kill ya!
You get off of me!
You take back what you said!
You bitch!
You cow!
The eye roll. I love the eye roll. It's
like you should go, there's so many funny ones of that, and he created like a TV Now cover with him and his parents on it as like Dot and Pat Butcher. So like definitely go check out his TikTok. It's like if you're having a crappy week, he is 100% going to put a smile on your face.
And if you have anything that you come across yourself throughout the week and you want to send it in to us, you can pop us an email. It's actually killianlive@gmail.com, or get us on our social medias. They're there on screen the entire time. A bit thirsty, I know, but you're looking. You can see that's our Instagrams there the whole time. So I think it's about time in the show we're going to give Danny a little call.
Hopefully this works now.
Yeah, no, this is one of these things that it'll either go really well or it'll be disastrous. You want to send it in to us? Danny!
Hello!
Can you see me all right?
We can't. You're going to have to turn. This is, oh my God, this is like what used to happen in the radio. You're going to have to turn down the YouTube in the background.
I'm going to turn it off. Hang on. The whole time. Go on.
Because we're getting the loop. This is technology happening right here. How are you getting on?
Not bad, man. How's your birthday celebration?
Did you know it was his birthday?
Went for a bit of an understated kind of decor here around the house. We got a keyboard about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And when we got it, Debbie was full of confidence. And she's like, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play Happy Birthday for You on the keyboard in 2 weeks' time. And I was like, oh, brilliant. And this morning I asked her,
Your birthday's not over yet.
Oh, before midnight, you reckon you're going to do this?
Pre-program it, like, you know, like...
Yeah.
So we played a little clip of you earlier on the show, one of your the pieces from the Vodafone Comedy Festival. Was that last year or year before?
It was about 6 months ago. Do you like my little background here?
Yeah. Is that my show reel on loop?
I'm just casually catching up on a bit of Danny,
I am so happy you did this.
For you on your last birthday.
Oh my
I'm so
God.
happy you did that, because it was so hard for me to do anything to embarrass him, because he's producing this whole thing. So I didn't know how to do it.
Killian, actually, for people watching this, is only actually 25 years of age. He had a tough round at Carrickstown. Tough round.
10 years at RTE will do that to you, mate.
That's what Irish showbiz will do.
Speaking of showbiz, I mean, you're right now on lockdown on your own in a house, but you were right now meant to be at the other side of the world.
Yeah, I was supposed to be on a 5-week tour in New Zealand, and I was meant to be in China and Hong Kong last month, and the Chinese gigs got pulled before anything else. So before we even thought that this was going to happen to all of us, we were going, Hong Kong won't happen. And then I changed and I managed to get a gig in Dubai to replace Hong Kong on the way to New Zealand. So there was all this kind of chopping and change, and I'm like, and then everything's gone. Like, and it's so frustrating, you know, when you make loads of things work and stuff like that. But like, listen, there's so much more going on at the moment. I'm just trying to make the best of this situation and try and be as productive as possible and come out of it in good shape, you know.
But not only is your comedy career going to come out of it in great shape, but I think so will your culinary skills. You have been doing every day. Now, I did a little thing on my Instagram, Cooking with Kill, where I would make scrambled eggs. Like, that would be the extent of it. You are doing restaurant quality food every single evening. Like, even just what you made tonight for dinner. It's up on your Instagram stories right now.
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce it. What was it?
I made I don't know what I call it. I made a double patty, bacon, blue cheese, and Gouda burger with homemade red onion jam.
You made your own homemade red onion jam?
Yeah. I got butcher mince that was fresh, great. It was epic, and there's loads of people ordering in stuff at home and stuff like that. And I like
This is Danny. We've got. He's still talking. Can you hear us? We're losing you.
Go
We're getting poor connection.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, you're back.
Oh,
You're
but
back.
you're
You're
back
back. You're
now.
back.
We
you're back.
lost you there for a sec.
You looked like you were having a stroke
Right.
at one point there. You're okay. You're back with us though.
I think your show reel is.
It's taking up all the bandwidth, is it?
I think the sheesh of your show reel has hoovered up the bandwidth.
So along with this very fancy and high-end food production on your Instagrams, you introduced something last night which myself and Debbie were very interested to see. You're doing 5-star reviews of frozen pizzas.
Yeah, I follow a page called Barstool Sports, and this guy does loads of pizza reviews and stuff. And then he started doing frozen ones because of obviously in New York they're on lockdown and stuff. And then I thought it'd be a good idea. I always, when you're really hungover and you're absolutely dying, and you're looking at the supermarket, when you're at rock bottom and you go, I'm gonna get 250 pepperoni, and you're just so ashamed. But that's a guilty pleasure, and I'm like, I want to find out the top one. I want to find out the top of the bottom.
That's a beautiful
Well,
wording.
I think we tasted the bottom tonight.
Yeah.
We had one and it was terrible.
We threw one in the. Now I'm raging that I took them out of the cardboard sleeve when we bought them weeks ago. So I'm not sure who owns it because I would name and shame them. But
it was terrible.
We tried.
Do you remember the little roundy ones? One of my mates, I put up the one yesterday. A guy, he used to do comedy. He's a gas dude, and he puts up a thing and he goes, he's from Balbriggan, but he talks like Ronnie Drew, even though he's my age. And every time he types something, I just read it in his voice, and it basically said, "Whatever those little bastards were when we were kids, with the World War II rationing of cheese and the hole in the bottom." He goes, "They are the champions." Remember those?
Remember those with the holes in the bottom? Yeah.
Take the face off yourself, no matter how long you left it for, and the cheese didn't melt; it just stayed that shape. Black.
Oh, the good old days. So, are you going to work your way up to tasting those ones? Are you going to be able to try and find them? Do they still exist?
I'm going to go through them all. I'm going to try. I might even venture to Lidl and try and get some there as well. I was laughing because I thought about this actually for a moment. Last week you had Danny on the Coronas, from the Coronas on, and now you've me. It's like you've got like a little version of Danny. last week was Super Value, and you have to go to Lidl.
Who's it going to be next week?
Danny Dyer.
Oh God! Well, listen. Give us your Instagram handle. It is at DOB Comedy, isn't it?
DOB Comedy, and all my cooking stuff is just under. I put hashtag DOB Cooks, and I'm trying to write a breakfast book at the moment.
You're writing a breakfast book.
I heard you make a great omelette, Danny.
I do, yeah. Did he tell you? I'll just tell you.
Yeah, go on, tell us. It's gas.
A few years ago, I made an omelette for a girl, and I made this pesto omelette, right? And then someone else who I'd made a pesto omelette for in relatively close proximity time frame to that aforementioned pesto omelette somehow saw the other person post a picture of it and said, "Hey, wait a second, that looks like a patented Daniel O'Brien pesto omelette."
Got rappers.
Are you making omelets for other girls?
Brilliant.
I told my mates, and they were calling me Omelets O'Brien for about half a year. And they just kept sending me gifts of, you're gonna break a few hearts. You have to break a few eggs to break a few hearts.
Oh, thank you for sharing that story with us.
Oh man, who gets caught because of an omelette? What a ridiculous
Of all the ways to be caught selling your wares, it was your bloody pesto omelette that did it in the end.
It's so funny.
Actually, it's ironic because the omelette ended up costing me multiple wares. My mate is 40 and he still refers to getting the ware. It's the funniest word. I was like, they'd be out watching a match or something. I was like, how was that? Yeah, it's pretty good. Got the ware and Eddie Rockets.
Oh God.
You can't get the ware when you're 40. And with wearing an Eddie Rockets
You'll be going up the top to get the tit next.
Oh, Killian.
Bringing the tone down. Listen, Omelets O'Brien, thank you so much for joining us on the show this evening.
You guys.
And
Thanks
we're
so
gonna,
much.
Okay.
we'll share all your social media channels at the end as well.
I'm going to go back to this show reel.
What an exciting Saturday night you have ahead of
You're
you.
so funny.
Cheers, brother. All the best.
Have a good weekend.
Bye,
See you later.
Danny.
Bye,
Take
bye,
care. Bye.
He's such a nice guy. Such a nice guy, El Danny.
Lovely guy.
He is the crack. Omelets O'Brien.
Yeah, I'm raging now. There's a bit of a technical
It's just
issue there, but
the internet. What
I
can
know
you do?
it is what it is.
I think Lady Gaga is streaming some worldwide concert
oh yeah,
tonight.
there's a lot of stuff that happens on a Saturday. I think
We were thinking about this. Should we change?
yeah, we might put up a little poll or something on social media or something to see should we change the day. I know you can watch it afterwards and stuff, so it's not too much of a big deal. But there is a lot of stuff that goes out live on a Saturday. People do their quizzes on Saturday nights and stuff like that. The time we put out, people are putting kids to bed at 8 o'clock and stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, speaking of quizzes, there's one thing that my brother Ronan does a quiz on a Saturday night, and they were doing the rounds, and there's all these different ones where it's like, oh, you've got to go and get like a bra, a toothbrush, and a left shoe, let's say, and all these. This, the first one back to the screen with these items gets the point or whatever. And one of them was take a picture of your toilet paper, and he was confident because they had done a Musgrave shop, so they had
So
a
much
big
toilet roll.
load of toilet rolls. He's going into this round. They were top of the leaderboard. He's feeling cocky, got the toilet roll shot, and they put the toilet roll shot in. And when they were correcting the round, your man, the quizmaster, was like, yeah, so you shouldn't have too much toilet roll. That's hoarding. Anything more than 8 rolls, you get deducted a point per roll you have. He had about 60 rolls. He went from top of the leaderboard to
like
dead
bottom.
last from this one thing. So some of the stuff that's coming up in the quizzes is just priceless.
Yeah, and I love seeing people's like screenshots of the quizzes where they're doing like fancy dress.
Oh, we're getting
or-
dressed up. There was
Yeah.
one of our friends. They were putting like she put her wedding dress back on and
Yeah,
everything.
it's
Like
really good.
amazing crack. It's great crack. So we got 5 minutes left.
So we do a question considering this is called Just a Dip.
It's meant to be like on some level. This was originally meant to be some sort of advice show. So
Yeah, I
let's
think
get
it's-
to at least one question.
Okay, so the question is, I've been living with my flatmate the last 3 years, and I would have said we are the best of friends, but since the lockdown, she's really irritating me. Any suggestions on what I can do?
So
Yeah.
what was a roommate romance?
So they're obviously on top of each other at the moment, where they were probably like in work all day, just spent the evenings, might have gone home at the weekend, or had their own like life at the weekend, life essentially separate, and then they were just like in the house together. But now at lockdown, they have to.
And when you move to live with somebody, and if you are then all of a sudden in each other's hair, little things like okay, it's only something small, but we eat together, so when we cook, it's grand. The pots and pans are used at the same
Yeah.
time. But I've lived in
Yeah,
houses with other
but-
people where somebody will make their dinner with the pots and pans and then just leave them, and then you'll come in from work and you have to clean
Oh,
their
yeah, I
pots
don't
and
like
pans
that.
before you can even
Yeah.
make your own dinner. And all these little things, you do it once or twice. It's annoying, but you do it because the person you live with is sound enough that you're like, oh, it's grand, I'll weigh it all up, it's fine. But all of a sudden, when you're living in each other's quarters, and as people are now, I'd say there's a lot of these kind of sort of passive sort of relationships that are just growing to the boil.
Because I
of
think
like,
people go through life in their own way. Like everyone has their own way of doing something. We've spoken about this a lot when I moved in here.
yeah, so this was a term that was introduced to me. I remember hearing about it and just being like, oh my God, that perfectly describes the way I am, because I'm quite particular at times.
Just
I
a little.
think
Just a little.
don't do the little, don't do that little thing on.
Go on anyway.
So these things called self rules.
Yeah.
And self rules are the way you live your own life. And I've I lived on my own for quite a while. I've lived out of home with other people and all these different things. And all through this time of me being away from the guise of my parents who would be doing a lot of stuff for you when you're at home, I started to gather these ways of doing things that I was like, well, this is the best way to do something. This is the best way to do it because I found for me it's the best way to do it. And they're my rules that I live by. And then you moved in and you, prior
I
to
have
that
my
point,
own rules.
yeah, and understandably so. You had 30 years of your own rules being
Yeah.
formed in your own world. And then you move into this house and all of a sudden it's like, you're not playing by my rule book.
it's kind of like, well, you're doing it that way, but I do it this way. And it's trying to find and navigate without arguing, without tit for tat.
I guess it's understanding that just because somebody's doing something a different way than you would, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just the way that they do it. Like, to give you a very small example, when I'm cooking, I like to clean as I go. So I like, by the time we sit down to have dinner, all the pots and pans are drying on the rack and there's no work to be done. Whereas, and then you weren't like that. And I remember one day we were talking about it and you were like, yeah, but I just made the food. I'd rather eat the food when it's at its warmest and freshest.
For me, it's like, okay, the food's hot, eat it now and then clean up, because I want, like, obviously if you're waiting for things, like certain things to cook or whatever, you can't, and if there's an opportunity to clean up bits and pieces, you will. But like, if there's the last pot or whatever, I'll throw it in the sink, run hot water on it or whatever, and then I'll clean it up when I'm finished eating. Because to me, it's like, enjoy your dinner. Like, you've just spent the last half an hour cooking it, sit down, eat it while it's hot. Where you're someone who would like spend 15 minutes cleaning up and then sit down and have your dinner.
But it was coming to that realization that they were my rules that I was creating, and it was unfair for me to expect you to live your life by my rule book. And that opened up something in me, which was a level of tolerance that I didn't have. I know you're probably like, this is you tolerant? But no, like, that certainly did it. It allowed me to be more tolerant of somebody doing stuff like leaving all of their coats in the kitchen all over the chairs, even though I put in a coat rack in the utility room.
It must be great being perfect, Killian.
I'm not perfect.
I know.
Just pretty close.
But basically, like, for these people that are living together, because we're getting a little bit off topic, like, so I guess it's just about understanding. So like what you're describing there is about self-rules. So it's about acknowledging the fact that, well, the way I do something mightn't necessarily be the way that somebody else does something, and that's okay. But how do you find your compromise? So I think definitely with you and me, when I moved in, like, you'd be just cleaning up after me. Like, I might have just buttered a slice of toast and I turn around, the butter was back in the fridge, the knife's in the dishwasher. Like, I was like, what the hell? Like,
efficient.
But what that does then is that it adds to the person, like, to me, like, as if you're tidying up after me all the time. And I remember saying that to you before, and you were like, well, like, it's fine, I don't mind. And I was like, yeah, you don't mind now, but later on down the line, what will get thrown back in, or could get thrown back in someone's face is, oh, for God's sake, I'm always cleaning up after you.
Yeah.
Where I never asked you to clean up after me. That was you making that decision and that rule, like. Yeah. So I think it comes down to the fact that, like, well, I suppose me and you are quite open. We have good communication, we discuss these things.
And that's the thing, and a lot of the questions that we've been getting, and I'm really surprised at the amount of questions we're getting, both on our social media channels, which, as I said, are on the screen. You can DM us, we can keep everything anonymous if you wish, but also, and the email address is actually killianlive@gmail.com. I don't know why I'm looking at that camera, that one's on, but anyway. But the one thing that seems to be a recurring answer between any sort of breakdown between two people is communication.
Yeah.
If you have good, honest communication, if you're sitting in a relationship, whether it be a friendship relationship or a sexual relationship with somebody, where you're sitting there in your head going, I'd love to just say, stop doing that. Yeah. But you're not saying
or
it.
Say,
well, then you need to address that.
Just stop, like, or I need a break, or...
Yeah.
So, like, what's probably happened in this household is that they're on top of each other all the time, like, so there's no break off, like, there's no, like... You know, they're obviously eating together, maybe lunching together, maybe going for walks together or whatever it might be. So they're in each other's pockets all the time. So maybe there should be a little bit of a distance. Like, we're quite good at giving each other
distance. Yeah. So, I mean, if we're going to give this person an answer as to what they can do, I would say it's going to be a difficult conversation. But trust me when I say one difficult conversation will leave you with a far better relationship.
And they could just start that conversation, like, you know, over a glass of wine or something, and just be like, God, isn't it mad? Like, we're really on top of each other at the moment. Like, it's real strange. I'm just so used to being this way or that way. And then you might find the other person might turn around and be like, geez, yeah, I was thinking the same. Like, you know, we're seeing a lot of each other and we're not used to it.
And like, maybe bring something to the table. I don't know if this is annoying or not, and you can tell me now live if it is, where probably what I would do is, if, like, let's just say you leave all your coats all over the kitchen, right? Hypothetically,
God,
right?
Let's
just say you leave your coats everywhere. I would leave a coat in the living room, and then we'd be sitting in there like, oh, I would say like, oh, sorry, I left my coat there.
No, we've spoken about this.
I know,
That's passive aggressive, I think.
Yeah, it is. I know, but it's just because it's
where you'd be like, oh, I'll just hang my coat up.
It's so difficult to have
go
that
hang
conversation.
Your coat up.
but yeah, and that's only because until you actually told me, it's like, no, I just want you to be straight with me. Don't
Don't
fanny
pussyfoot
about.
around it. Don't be like, you know, oh, maybe I'll do this, like hoping I'll catch a hint. Just be direct and just be like, listen, it bothers me that you leave your coats on the back of a chair. Can you hang them up on the hooks I hung up, especially for your
and
coats?
like and as like,
but now I just do it on purpose.
as I know you do. And as awkward as those conversations are, you're best off having them, and then whatever is left of your relationship afterwards, at least that's a truer relationship than existing in this world where both of you are.
But I think there's ways you can talk. Like communicating isn't just telling somebody. Like communicating is being open to both sides, you know, like of the conversation. It's like, you know, you might have one feeling towards it or one opinion on it, but you have to be open to listen to the other person's if it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's not a conversation. Conversation works both ways.
You know, my Paul Byron was just on Sheila Shoga's podcast talking about that, about how, you know, everyone, there's this whole narrative now of like, it's good to talk, it's good to talk, it's good to talk. What people aren't saying is that it's also important to listen.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think on that note,
We'll say goodbye.
we'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for tuning in
Thanks,
again.
guys.
We'll see if we can get to comments, will we?
Oh, yeah. Before we go, I might have to put my glasses on. See this?
See, is there any comments coming in? No, I can't see. Oh, there is one.
Oh,
Trev.
there.
Trev is back again. Yo, everybody out
what
there.
What did Shane say?
Go run and tell your
Hey,
homeboys at
Dev,
home.
love.
Go, Keenan and Kel. Trev O'Connell, this man, he is just the life and soul of a party if you happen to be lucky enough to be at a party with him. And he does an incredible rendition of the intro theme music to Keenan and Kel.
Oh, cool.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And Shane just wished you a happy birthday there.
Ah, thank you, Shane.
Love you too, bro.
Appreciate that, my man.
Miss you loads.
All right, so that is it for this week's show. We'll be back next week with Danny Dyer. or Danny from the script. We're going to try and keep all guests named Danny
Yeah,
for the
that's going to be
foreseeable.
difficult.
Yeah, we'll see. Hope you have a great week, safe week, and
Yeah, stay safe. Stay at
Stay
home.
safe.
Do what you're told.
yeah, and
It's working.
we'll keep you updated on the vegetable patch and how it's getting on. All right. Thanks a million, guys. A little round of applause to
Yeah.
finish and everything. Do you like that?